I have a question about the witnessing state of consciousness. I have heard saying you to be anchored in it or established in it. So I would like to hear what you mean exactly. Or, yeah, what does it mean to be anchored in the state of witnessing?
Well, how is that relevant to you? Are you witnessing? Do you witness? Do you speak from the experience where something needs to be maybe confirmed, clarified? Because I'd like to be sure that you're not asking hypothetically, but asking with regard to
observing. Sorry, I was observing like a few months that I'm always observing myself. So like I go to bed and I'm aware, and in the morning the first thing I was aware, and then by the time it came like normal, or then I wasn't sure anymore. And then a time came that I wanted to throw myself in the experience. I'm just experiencing, like I wanted just to enjoy the movie I was watching and like losing myself in a way. And I do that. So I just wanted to know if this is, I know you brought up many examples, but I'm never sure if this is losing itself, or is it not? Like this cup of tea to enjoy this and go into this experience.
it's something that we concurrently return to. We speak about this very often. Witnessing is a prerequisite. In a way, witnessing is what, in itself, a confirmation that there is this unfoldment taking place, where the seer, the observer, is finally in a driving seat. In other words, it's an important phase in the unfoldment of consciousness. And the only times that we speak about it as witnessing becomes a limitation into itself is when we settle on that, and that somehow is being considered it. This is what it is, and therefore that's the ultimate thing. And remember, I pointed out on several occasions that some of the teachers and their teachings come from that witnessing, and therefore exalting witnessing state as the ultimate state of realization, ultimate state of self-realization. As long as you have this understanding that it's though a prerequisite, it's not the ultimate. So that there is this propensity to go into a greater intimacy with everything. And that greater intimacy is here understood, let's say, if we speak about it in terms of how it's being described, how it's being mapped out, is what heralds that qualitatively finer, more refined state, known as celestial perception, or else spoken of as God consciousness. But witnessing is that which may take a prolonged period of time, and there may be gradations and degrees. When witnessing is accompanied by all the activity, including the three relative states of consciousness, including even the deep sleep where we otherwise, by large, lost, right? There is no awareness, as it were. Of course, there is always awareness, but we lose the sense of self. So this is why it is similar to the aforementioned samadhi. That's why in Shaiva tradition, samadhi and deep sleep are analyzed and scrutinized and spoken of in relatable terms. Because in both cases, the sense of self is lost. In a deep sleep, it is granted, right? That's why there is a deepest rest. Because in that deepest rest, not because of that deepest rest, why it is such a profound state, we feel so rested, because any iota of tension that inevitably comes from any other identification is dissolved in a deep sleep. The doer is not present in a deep sleep, full stop. So when the deep sleep is witnessed, then we could say that all three are pierced now completely, and the awareness becomes uninterrupted. Even though as witnessing, you just witness throughout everything. And this is, I haven't done that, haven't spoken about it, but could be also maintained at will. Once you have that as a spontaneous experience, you can make sure you never lose it. Now we leave aside now to the way the witnessing gives to the subtler, more refined, that what celestial perception is here represents. And now more specifically in terms of, as far as I understand, maybe that's the dilemma, do you allow yourself to enjoy life, right? Like, do you witness everything, which means that how can you enjoy something? Like, how can you enjoy a kiss, right? If you don't lose yourself in that kiss. How do you enjoy any other sensory perceptual experience if you are not merged with that experience, be it sitting and just simply watching the sunset or listening to the chirping of the birds, walking barefooted on the grass, taking a hot bath, watching a movie, right? So it's legitimate question here. Do you maintain the witness or do you let witness go? Is this your dilemma? Just want to know exactly why you brought these experiences. Do you need the confirmation somehow that whether you're meant to remain in witness? And then how do you balance this, allowing yourself to enjoy? I just want to understand, I want to make sure I understand you correctly.
Yes, I think this is the dilemma. Because I realize sometimes when I'm thinking about something, then after I come back to myself. On the other hand, sometimes when I get angry or something, I also enjoy that and I'm witnessing it. Mm-hmm. So I cannot really say when I'm not witnessing when I'm in deep sleep, for sure. I had a phase I couldn't sleep for, it was very hard to sleep for, I think, 1 or 2 years. But not, I don't know what that was, but yeah, to come back. I think that's my dilemma. If I'm allowed to go into the experience. Sometimes it's a few seconds, sometimes it's longer, and then to come back. I mean, it's something natural. It's not that I'm doing something, it's just observing.
The simple and the shortest answer is yes, absolutely. We don't impose anything artificial here. So in other words, you can't just hack, right, the witnessing and maintain being in the witnessing irrespective of what you do. This should happen automatically. This is the whole point. When that happens automatically, then the secondary dilemma here is how it is experienced. And you may recall when I was making distinction, if the witnessing is too clinical, if it is not accompanied by bubbling sensations of joy, bliss that is, then it will sooner or later become a dry experience. It will literally begins to feel dry. And a lot of disappointments in those who take this state for the ultimate is precisely that. And if they are honest with themselves, the search continues, you see? The search will continue because they will not buy it. Even if their spiritual teacher comes and non-dual teacher says, well, the whole point is to just witness everything. Witness your thoughts, witness your feelings, don't get enmeshed with them, don't get involved, just be the witness. That's it, that's the job. No, you know that, you can't lie to yourself. If it is accompanied by, however, bliss, then witnessing can be enjoyed much longer because you don't feel despaired and you don't feel disparity between yourself and experience. Because what witness is, or witnessing state, is when there is a separation between the self, which is claimed, reclaimed, and the world, or the world of objective experience. So that rupture is that prior to that was obvious, gross, now entered a subtle phase. And that subtle phase is what's called as a landmark, an important area or the important plateau where is the only time we can camp. Remember that analogy? That unless we're established in witness, right, we cannot just sluggish in our spiritual effort and endeavor. Because establishing in witness is a certain stage in the process where it creates a very steady platform, I would say, for further growth and expansion of consciousness. So if this is clear, that if it's not clinical, then it would not cause any problems. But if it is clinical, then you would kind of catch yourself constantly. Movie you watch, you can't get into the story because it's like you're witnessing it. You can't read the book. You can't get into the story. Sometimes you can't even focus on what is being said because there's so much, your attention is in the witness, the observer, taking you fully. Same with a lot of other things. But if there is this, as with this work, where the emphasis is often brought again and again to the quality of your experiences, where we don't bypass, we don't discard, and enjoying is very important. Of course, you don't deny yourself from enjoyment. So you do lose yourself in whatever experience. You do lose yourself in a movie. You do lose yourself in a companionship. You don't try to kind of like, your husband kissing you on the back of your neck, right? I'm witnessing you. I'm remaining in the witness. Carry on, but I know what you're up to. No, you just completely Go with the flow, you know. You're smelling the rose. It's not, you're not analyzing the shades of So I want you to understand also this once and for all. The whole point is to the quality of all experiencing. So never do we jeopardize or dismiss these experiences, even if they fall under the category of perceptual range derived through the organs of cognition, because they are limited, because they are here, to go. They are no. This is not at all. This is not at all a proper understanding. Proper understanding is that we find refinement in everything we do, joy in everything we do. And when we feel that we are saturated with something, it's time to maybe to take a break, take a sabbatical, take a detox, take, post, like just to create that healthy detachment, so as to not to blunt the senses. Other than that, do not worry that if you allow yourself, then you will lose yourself in the experiences, because witnessing is not something you do. You see? It's not something you do. It's not a byproduct of your doing. It's a contrary, anything but.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, dears, maybe we will wrap it up now, so as not to, for it to be too tiring. Okay? So, see you next time. Make whatever you will of all this. And do not fear. That's the whole point. Do not fear. Nothing can touch or affect you. The knowledge of that has to be firmly rooted. You have to be rooted in that understanding. So in a way, that what is happening in terms of the trajectory of the unfoldment, and why we're here perhaps during this time, and why this is so extraordinary in every respect, is that greatest question that only you can solve, or only you can contemplate, whether you find answers or not. You need to be rooted in that understanding of the utter eternity of who you are, that you cannot be touched by any of this, whilst at the very same time it is only in you that the destiny of all this what's happening is decided. This is the greatest of the paradoxical nature of that relationship. That's what it means. To walk the path of the heart. Jai Gurudev.